The great state of Texas's game wardens were the first people to hit this island to relieve us and bring us water and MREs and start checking on this, and that says a lot for the Texas Parks and Wildlife for the game wardens.
Ike's winds toppled this brick wall and littered roads with debris.
I spent the day Friday checking in customers and have them come to the line and, do their whole sign up and expect to pay money to stay. And, you say, well, no, this is on us because you're an evacuee. It really does make their day. A lot of people were shocked by that.
I think the idea that they're letting the Texas residents or whoever is leaving stay free, I think that is just great. It speaks a lot for the state parks.
Hopefully we can spot some victims and recover them, which is not something we'd like to do, but I'm sure the families would like to find them. So do we.
That's my home.
I've got a job to do, and you go out there and do the best you can, and then you come home and deal with what you got to deal with. And that's what I decided to do a long time ago, so I'm doing it.
I was surprised at the devastation. I was just surprised how tore up everything was. This is the debris field up inside. This used to be the state park's office. As you can see, although the park was partially destroyed or mostly destroyed, our Board of Commissioners made it through all right. These are the residences. This house right here used to sit up on top of these foundations, on these pillars here. And you just see the mud and everything. The water had to have been up in here. This is what we came down here to see if it was salvageable.
In a blink of an eye, everything's gone. Welcome to what used to be CRM State Park.
Our goal was to open up the park after being closed due to Hurricane Rita back in '05. We were getting close. We were probably 2-3 months away. We saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I didn't realize it was a freight train with a hurricane behind it.
There was probably about 16-foot storm surge that hit us, and then there was 8 to 10 foot of waves on top of that. So you're looking at a total of 30 foot of water that came through here. All the personal property, the houses, everything is scattered from here to Highway 73, which is probably about a 15-mile radius. There is nothing left over there. That was home for the last 13 years. And they went ahead and transferred me over to Village Creek.
I've been reassigned to Lake Brownwood. Personal things that I've lost, yeah, that's sad. That stuff can be replaced. But working with your comrades, that part, that's kind of hard.
It's kind of like one of those last looks across the Gulf for you, huh?
Everything between Sabine Pass and Port Arthur got floated into the Murphy area. But the winds blew in this area for over 18 hours at over 80 miles an hour. We were on what they call the dirty side of the hurricane.
This is the Murphy WMA staff and crew from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality checking containers that washed up in Hurricane Ike for hazardous materials, retrieving what containers we can and marking the others. It was a flood of record with close to 11 feet of salt water. The plants just can't tolerate that kind of salt, so they've browned out. And many of them will die. And there'll be a mosaic on the landscape that will change the way plants and animals use this landscape for the next probably 15 to 20 years.
We left out of here on a Thursday morning, and we drove up the river all the way to the Beaumont Yacht Club. And we tied up both boats over there, my personal boat and this boat. It rode out perfect. The marina where we keep the boat is totally devastated. And our office over here had 7 feet of water. I was one of the first ones to see our office, and when I opened the door, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just mud, there were snakes in there, everything was just turned upside down. 24 years of my data, personal items that I had in my desk that I lived out and worked out for almost 24 years of Parks and Wildlife is gone. Part of your life is just gone.
It's displaced us. We currently have a law enforcement office trailer that we're operating out of here at the J.D. Murphy Wildlife Management Area. The biggest impact, I guess, has been the loss of our routine.
A lot of shrimp.
Yeah, this team is really pulled together to be able to take an insult like this and continue doing the work that we do.
448 male.
Very quickly after the storm, they were able to secure their families and then return to work and start our routine sampling and surveying. We had staff members who lost their entire homes. There's nothing left but a slab.
This is where my home used to sit in Sabine Pass, Texas. They're saying that the water here was probably 6-7 foot deep over the top of the ridge. It's totally gone. All I have left is some blocks and some holes in the dirt. I'm living in a travel trailer that was provided by Texas Parks and Wildlife. After 2.5 weeks of not having a place to live, finally I've got my own place again on my own property where I can do what I need to do to get back going. And I really do appreciate it.
You know, stuff like this is Mother Nature, and she's been doing this way before we even came around, you know, and she's gonna keep on doing this. And it just may be her way of taking care of things.
Clean this mess up, open up for duck season, get our monitoring set up so that when spring comes, we're ready to start watching this marsh come back together.
When you see things like this, don't let it discourage you or anything. You know, what you do is you work hard, you put the pieces back together, and you rebuild. That's all you can do. And you just thank God that you survived it.